Cartoon Network has screwed over plenty of shows this year. What else is new? What's new is that they might be screwing over a pretty good show from one of the biggest names in foreign cartoons right now. Let's check out Power Players and see if it's something you should care about or if it's something that's no big loss. Power Players is the latest super franchise to come out of Zagtoon, the French animation house which burst into world prominence 4 years ago thanks to the success of their girl-skewing hero cartoon, Miraculous Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir. While that show was too girly for my tastes, I was a fan of their next project, 2017's Zag Storm, which, like Miraculous, bounced around a few channels once it came to the US. You would think that Zag would have better luck with their third major original cartoon, but alas, it's landed on Cartoon Network, and as they often do with acquisitions, they're killing it softly. If you've already managed to catch this show Saturday afternoons at 12:30 in September and October, I personally salute your attentive eyes. You'd think they'd treat it better given this show is co-produced by Man of Action, the folks responsible for bringing Generator Rex and the venerable Ben 10 franchise into this world. But this is a different Cartoon Network than the one that launched those shows in the late 2000s and early 2010s. For everyone who hasn't seen it though, Power Players is about a secret team of toy heroes who set off on epic missions with their kid leader. So it's like Toy Story, but the Disney XD superhero spin-off series that they make 10 years from now is a desperate and incoherent cash grab. Let's see how Power Players plays out. The show starts with a two-part first episode, and after we get past the French's attempt at having a theme song, we come in on a scene that could be found on any TV show where the neighborhood layout not so blatantly European. A young boy playing a game on his phone. This is our main character, Axel. We'll of course be seeing plenty more of him. For whatever reason, he looks and sounds like a younger Adrian Agreste from Miraculous. Was it intentional? Who knows? After the worst piece of animated acting I've ever seen, we meet Uncle Andrew, who will be somewhat important to this show, but not really important.
Will you have time during your recovery to do the sweeping?
Oh, hi, Uncle Andrew. I was just...
Playing? Again? I thought we covered it.
Responsibilities first, play after. I know, but sweeping is all... And this game is all zing, kapow, shebang!
Seriously, this acting is ridiculous.
Did he tell you?
Way to scare me, Zoey.
Someone had to animate this, and yet they couldn't be subtler. Like, come on. Thank goodness spooky season is over for this year. This kid looks like he couldn't make it past October 3rd. Even as I watch Zoey here explain Uncle Andrew's big secret about how he used to be a toy inventor, I can't get over how overblown the animation is in these first couple scenes. We at least get to see Uncle Andrew's shop, which appears to be just as eccentric as you'd expect a local toy repair business to be. Uncle Andrew gives a non-answer to the things Zoey's brought up, and...
I've been working on it for weeks. And you could be the first to play with it.
Aren't these kind of toys for kids?
Something real will make a nice change from all of your screens.
These two lines managed to make me cringe harder than the acting that's led up to this. Also, you're 12, Axel. It's all quite literally fun and games until Axel breaks the leg off of one of the toys his uncle was working on and panics about potential repercussions. This scene and the next seem very unnecessary, as Axel heads down and looks for a screwdriver and screw that are both on the table right in front of his face. Like, seriously, what failure between the writers and the animators happened to bring scenes like this to life? Ridiculous slow-mo sends the screwdriver flying under the door. I can't even watch this seriously now that I have a critical eye on it. And we're only 5 minutes in.
Wow!
We were supposed to take a giant turbine as something of awe. This is just some really poor and non-illustrative framing. The matchup between the words and the images on this show are almost as bad as an old kung fu movie right now. The pacing between lines feels rushed and sloppy at parts, as Axel discovers the armbands he needs to activate what is apparently Pandora's toy box.
I'm in the box. Let me out, I beg you. I got stuck in here by mistake. I'm trapped.
It's super clear from the first shots we see inside that Axel is both just woken up and just activated the villain of this show. Kinda like the 2018 Turtles laying out the mutant mosquitoes in their first episode, but drawn out into 2.5 middling minutes. Once freed, our villain has this explanatory moment before Axel accidentally activates that giant turbine and starts up our other heroes who, like our villain, are living toys. The last 2 minutes of part 1 can be described as a wild goose chase, a big misunderstanding, and a big lack of understanding. The first minute or so of part 2 continues where part 1 left off, and then we get into the awkward explanation phase, before the villain, who we now know as Madcap, puts our heroes back in action. It's kind of weird how they decide to save Axel despite their misconceptions about him. How Axel convinces the toys is unclear and seems implausible. Oh, and Zoey's in on this too now all of a sudden. The back end of the episode is a big fight sequence, and while the editing and the voice work still feels ropey, at least it's not as bad as earlier on. Of course, our heroes win, and with Zoey's help, everything works out just fine. Though Madcap taking over an abandoned warehouse doesn't bode well for future episodes. I think this is the first show I've reviewed where you can actually watch the show's quality improve as it progresses. Like, people talk about that sort of thing on a season-by-season basis throughout a series, not within the confines of a single episode. You really can't think too hard about some of the things in this show because the whole thing seems to start falling apart after the tiniest bit of scrutiny. It's more of an issue with how this show is produced rather than with the plot, though that's not perfect either, but I think it's an honest point to bring up. Having Axel's neighbor Zoey aware of the situation with the toys is actually a bit creative. It ends some potential story threads but creates others. Obviously we're not going to have a "you're the hero" moment. They got over that as nonchalantly as possible during the Devil opener, but that choice now also opens up all the potential liabilities that arise with someone knowing something that you probably want to keep a secret. I doubt any of the bigger angles of that will be explored in this show. They only have 11 minutes and one of the episodes was a moral uncompromise after all, but the door is there. The show's main team of toys combines a variety of kinds of toys in unique ways. Barbarian combines a plush teddy bear with the likes of He-Man and Thor, Masco mixes your typical luchador with Stretch Armstrong, and Bobby Blobby perhaps combines the most disparate tropes. A doll, modeling clay, Buzz Lightyear, and a cutesy rhyming name. And while we're at Cookie Run. Meanwhile, Sarge Charge is your standard G.I. Joe, and Galileo is... well, who knows what Galileo is supposed to be. Props to the show's team for making this work, as had they played it straighter, our team would be a lot less interesting. Power Players as a show is decent. Definitely better than CN's original fare, but nothing I personally rave about. Though admittedly, better than CN's originals is kind of a low bar right now. I don't think I'm as up for this show as I was for Zack Storm, but it doesn't intently turn me off like Miraculous did. You definitely have to make it into at least the second half of the two-part premiere for things to start moving, but even then, this show isn't standout great. I guess if we're looking for something better, we'll have to see how they do with their next cartoon, Ghost Force. I think Power Players is a story of wasted potential, both on the part of Zagtoon and Man of Action, and on Cartoon Network itself. Zag and Man of Action had come up with a really stellar concept, and it looks super good on paper. The characters are well set up, and the show's pitch of Mission Impossible but with toys, no seriously, that's part of the synopsis, would be a really great show. Unfortunately, the execution of the concept just falters. It doesn't fail, but it doesn't excel either. The show works a little better after you get over the speed bump that is the plot setup in episode 1, but even then it still doesn't live up to its overhyped promises. The other wasted potential is on Cartoon Network for scheduling this show so badly and screwing it over in the process. Saturday afternoons are kind of a weird time slot, and I think CN could have picked a better spot to put this show. Plus, it doesn't look like Power Players got a lot of promotion, so that probably also hurt the potential for ratings. It seems like Cartoon Network only cared for this show half-heartedly. Not caring enough to burn it, but not really caring about it enough to consider it a serious part of their schedule. And that's a shame, because it's a decent enough show, even as is, and with enough of a push behind it, they could have made it work. What are your thoughts on Power Players? Has this review got you interested in checking it out? I'd love to hear what you think in the comments. And make sure you subscribe for more from the world of television from me every single week. If you want to check out more of my reviews, you can do that right over here. I'm Benzie Johnson Jr., I'm enthusiastic about television, and I'll see you next time.